In this first segment, we'll be taking you through the front covers of our national dailies this morning. Let's check out what is happening. What are the papers telling us this morning? And we begin from the Vanguard newspaper. Of course, a very interesting and shall I say mind-blowing headlines appearing on the front cover of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And right there on page 7, you see how we escaped assassination in Benin. This is coming from the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general election, Mr. Peter Obi and Oyegun. That's on page 7. It was quite a chaotic and shocking experience yesterday for Mr. Peter Obi. And as you can see right there on your screen, a car with the screen of the car shattered by bullets. And one would say that Mr. Peter Obi and his entourage were lucky yesterday. But you could grab a copy on a Vanguard newspaper and get yourself acquainted. Let's take a look at page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And that right there we have U.S. Congress recommends measures to end Christian persecution in Nigeria. If you can just zoom it up a little bit, there are bullet points there that the United States of America, who and Congressman Raleigh Moore and Chris Smith pushing a serious law against Christian genocide in Nigeria. And part of the major highlights of that report submitted to President Donald Trump yesterday, right there you can see calls for legal reforms, improved policing, strengthening of criminal justice sector. We also have 6 repeal of Sharia blasphemy law. That particular point in that report has sparked a little bit of reaction, not just a little bit of reaction, serious reactions from the northern part of the country, Nigeria, especially those that practice the Sharia law. We also have demands programs to allow self-defense for farmers. No policy on religious persecution. FG replies, Congressman. I also have the Christian Association of Nigeria saying U.S. pressure on Sharia can cause tension in Nigeria. I also have the Nigeria seeks divestment from Russian military measures to counter Chinese influence. All of these you'll find on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Very, very interesting headlines. Just one more or a few more headlines on the Vanguard. We also have at the top mast right there, CBN cuts interest rate to 26.5%. Of course, in recent times, we've seen a massive relief in terms of the Naira. Now, when you pair the Naira to the dollar, it's just about 1,300 and some fractions at the top. And of course, the meeting, the monetary policy meeting by the CBN just a few days ago, of course, further cut down the interest rate to 26.5%, which we believe is going to create a safer, is going to reduce the pressure of people, assessing loans and want to do business in Nigeria. So that's on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have President accepts Egbetoku resignation as IGP appoints Tunji Disu in acting capacity. That's probably the biggest news as far as security is concerned in Nigeria yesterday. As well, it came as a shock to most of us, but not to everyone, when former Inspector General of Police right now, even though it hasn't been confirmed yet by the Senate that we now have a new IGP of police in the person of Tunji Disu. Of course, Inspector Kayode Egbetoku has now resigned, citing family concerns and pressure. Of course, those who would like to press more will say maybe it's just beyond family and concerns. Maybe something actually is involved. But all we can tell this one is that Nigeria now have a new Inspector General of Police who, until the Senate confirmation, will be acting as the Inspector General of Police. Let's take a look at the next daily this morning, and that is the Nigerian Tribune. And you can see the handsome picture of Nigeria's new acting IGP. Egbetoko resigns. Tunji Edosu is acting IGP. 8 DIGs may go. That's on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And at the other side of the Tribune this morning, we also have profile of acting IGP. It's quite a remarkable personality, I must say. Of course, we have him born on the 13th of April 1966, BAMA degrees from LASU, head of SARS in Ondo, your state from 2011 to 2014, Commander Rapid Response Squad in Lagos from 2015 to 2021. And the list goes on in terms of his profiling as the new Inspector General of Police. And Nigerians will be waiting to see what the new IGP will have to offer differently from what Kayode Egbetokun provided for us since he was appointed as the IGP of Police back in 2023. Of course, you know that Mr. Kayode Egbetokun should have wrapped up his tenure as the IGP of Police last year, but then there was an amendment to the Police Amendment Act which extended his stay by extra 4 years, and he should be wrapping up by October next year. But then fate had its play yesterday. Still on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, we also have this morning suspected thugs attack Edo ADC Secretariat, Odege Oyegun's residence. Minutes after Akpata's defection. That's on page 10. It seems to look like we've seen this a trend of violence. If you recall, when the former governor, or should I say the current governor, not the former actually, the current governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, actually threatened Mr. Peter Obi not to step his foot into Edo State. Well, that video is quite trending right now on social media. So people are asking the very serious question: is it or is it not? Well, I'll leave that to you to judge. I also have on page 2, El-Rufai asks court to squash DSS charges against him. Atiku warns over his ill health, why we are yet to charge him to court. This is coming from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Also on page 14 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning, we have Bayelsa Assembly clears Diri's chief of staff as deputy governor. Of course, last year it was a sad experience for the people of Bayelsa State when they lost their deputy governor. But right now, that role have been filled by someone else. We wish the Bayelsa State government the best of luck in this new phase. Let's move on this morning to still on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper on page 2. FG reaffirms stand on religious freedom as U.S. panel recommends repeal of Sharia blasphemy laws in Nigeria. Well, people are talking. Let's see if they will actually get to the end point of this issue of stopping Sharia law in Nigeria. Let's move on to the next daily this morning. And right there is the Nation newspaper staring right in front of you. President to team, take our scorecard to grassroots. Of course, one will agree that the biggest problem of the All Progressives Congress is the fact that some people are saying that, look, whatever is happening in this country, we are not feeling the benefits of democracy. We are not feeling the benefit of the leadership of the governance of the administration of President Bola Tinubu. And just a few days ago, during the break of fast at the Aso Rock Villa, the president was telling all the governors who were present with him, take this development, take our scorecards to the grassroots level, because they are the ones that truly need. They need to know what is happening, what our administration, what our government is doing. I hope the governors will actually do that and come to the grassroots level. We also have on the Nation newspaper this morning, U.S. House of Panel reports catalyst for more cooperation. That's on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. We also have Egbetokun out. Disu steps in as IG. Why he quit? Well, I've done a lot of exegesis on that this morning. You can grab a copy of the Nation newspaper and get yourself acquainted of the why Mr. Kayode Egbetokun resigned as the IGP of police. Of course, it's quite strange to see a political office, should I say, public office holder in Nigeria decide to drop his position. Well, and now I think the last, but not the least, the Daily Trust newspaper, U.S. push to scrap Sharia sparks outrage. Of course, Islamic clerics and those of the Muslim faithfuls are kicking vehemently against this U.S. push to scrap the Sharia law. And we also have on the Daily Trust, RFI asks courts to squash DSS charges. Obi Oyego, other ADC chieftains attacked in Edo. Executive order may stall Lake Chad Kolmani project. And still on the Daily Trust this morning, we have expert X-ray interest rate cost to 26.65%. Bayelsa governor picks chief of staff as deputy. And finally, we have 29 DIGs, AIGs may go as Tinubu replaces Egbetokun. That is it on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. I think that is the much that we can take this morning. You can grab a copy of these dailies and get yourself acquainted with some of the top trending stories this morning emanating from Nigeria. And of course, I'm not the only one. I have to hand you over to the, how do I describe them this morning? Gentle and to the team. Good morning, guys.
Today.
Good morning.
It's good to have you on board this morning again, and good to have you on board as well.
Good morning, Sam.
Good morning to you. All right, so we're all set, and good morning to you on the other side. And so far, Praise has given you what's, for the most part, the top stories across our national dailies this morning. And we'll just quickly have a little bit of discussion about this, some of these headlines, not all of them actually, but the top stories this morning, so far as we can see, is either the IGP's replacement or the attack against ADC chieftains in Edo State. And looking at the Tribune this morning, it talks about Egbetokun resigns, Tunji Disu is as acting IGP, and ADIGs may go. Now, what really catches me over this is the fact that this has happened now, okay, which is a year rather, that has seen a lot of insecurity, like a hike in instances of insecurity across the country. And I would want to think that this necessitates the president's decision. And in fact, based on inside reports from Aso Villa, from within the presidency, it is because of these, and not really because Egbetokun wanted to resign, as he said, because of family issues, right?
Any reason is a reason.
Any reason is a reason, but it's mostly
praise. It seems you have an objection.
Yeah,
let's chill.
Yeah, let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah,
right? I mean, who wants to drop
such a lofty position as that of the IGP. Okay, me too. Even when I heard that, as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, I think there must be more behind
at
this.
a moment like this. Anyway, yeah, like I said, every reason is a reason.
But I do like the fact that he has been replaced. Yes, the fact that he has been replaced, and Olatunji Disu is now stepping in as the acting IGP until his confirmation. Because you see, when insecurity continues to ravage a country like this, ideally we should see security heads even announcing their resignation, right? So I think, as it stands right now, what the IGP just did, that's like the right move for him to do. But he didn't do it until he was asked to do it. So that's why we see, or rather, we've heard him come up with these excuse that
I think we are faced with two reasons that it's so subtle. The president asks and the IGP resigns. However it is, what we know is that we are about to have a new IGP.
And I think
And
it's
we
about
hope that the
time.
new IGP, is able to perform better.
Yeah,
Until
right?
we access the performance of the outgoing IGP. So then we now start expecting
Yeah.
better or best.
Eventually, time will tell.
Sure,
And that's what we're
sure.
keeping our fingers crossed, expecting to see. And very quickly, let's look at this story from the Vanguard newspaper that says U.S. Congress recommends measures to end Christian persecution in Nigeria. Now, they have outlined some conditions, okay, that Nigeria needs to, talking about Vanguard newspaper, yes, some conditions that Nigeria needs to fulfill, okay, for yes, for more cooperation, to make way for more cooperation between the U.S. and Nigeria. But these, as valid as some of these points are, as far as I'm concerned, I'm in agreement with most of them. Okay, but what worries me is the fact that another country is actually, to me, this is dictation.
Guys, Nigeria has not even come out to say that there is a persecution of Christians.
Okay.
I mean, there's no total acceptance. So, I mean, US will be giving suggestions, helping out the way.
This doesn't look like a suggestion to me.
Okay, the fact remains that there's a cry out of genocide on Christians. That was even what brought the US attention in the first place. But as a nation, have we even accepted that there's something like that existing? And yes, it may not be only Christians alone, right? People are that. What we are concerned about is that human beings are losing their lives. When they have not, Nigeria has not done enough to secure lives. We don't even want to start talking about properties, but lives. How much more, a group of religious a denomination, yes. So all we are crying for, we are asking for is, can there be safety of lives?
And I think that's what every Nigerian is praying for right now. It's not about if the U.S. intervenes, because we've seen a lot of bilateral talks as far as security is concerned in Nigeria. Just recently, Germany, and now we're hearing Russia that's in war. I mean, Chinese. I mean, these are people that have their own problems. Nigeria, we are a sovereign nation.
Yeah.
We can resolve our own issues. The truth is the U.S. just want to put an end. And I think we just collaborate with them. We have started the collaboration already. There's no point going back anymore. And I think that's just the simple thing. Nigerians want an end to insecurity.
And we'll just have to leave it at these. As far all of the Nigerian dailies are concerned this morning, this is how far we can take you across most of them, just the key ones at least. But you can go ahead and grab a copy of any of these newspapers as you wish and read for yourself in detail most of these headline stories we've read to you this morning. And coming up next is the big story, which is coming up in a few minutes' time, and all three of us will be on ground to take you along on top most of the stories, and particularly we'll be going into, of course, the new replacements of the IGP, Egbetokun. Should I say former IGP, and then also the political thuggery, the instance of political thuggery in Edo State against the ADC party yesterday. So you just stay tuned and we'll be back shortly.